I was raised very conservative and very conservative Christian. So if you watch all of the documentaries on Netflix, like some pretty serious things similar to that, where we went and lived on a commune in East Texas and, ate, expired food from the food kitchens and all kinds of stuff. Like a lot of these things that were driven by a purpose that I truly believe was good intent, but just like, pay attention to the kids that you're not feeding. Most of my life until I was 18, I had a hole in my floor underneath my bed that had a piece of plywood. And you could hear the rats and the raccoons underneath it. We didn't have heat. It was just, my parents loved me, but it was not a warm house. Right. And nobody in my family went to college. And they really wanted a path out of this life that I think they felt stuck in. And so I wound up going to college. I got a degree in music and kind of went a different path than I think most people thought I would as a broke musician. And I was like, you know what? I did this. I've been broke. I don't want to be broke. I want insurance. I want kids. I want a family. And I got into tech, and that's really kind of what got me where I'm at. I've really, really struggled with like the confidence to have children in this world and to make sure that they have a roof over their heads. The most important thing is that these kids are fed and warm. I know what it was like to be cold and hungry, and I never want that for my kids. I will take any hit that I can to my ego and to my anything to make sure that they have shoes and that they have a shirt on their back and coats and that they have the things that they need.
I look at your life, I hear what you've been through and then where you are, and it's really fucking impressive. But I know that there's a piece of you that feels like it's not enough.
Yeah. How I have processed my trauma. And there's a lot. When I was 3, my neighbor shot me and I was in the hospital, and legitimately, like I have bullet wounds in my arm, and there's some like other really, really dark, like physical, like sexual abuse that has happened in my life that is deep. And one of the things that was clear to me is that I deal with trauma by painting a nostalgia laden pretty picture, is to find the good in everything and to say, yeah, that was fucked up, but it taught me resilience, or it taught me something, how to fight for myself, how to speak up, how to defend myself, these things that make it okay to go to bed with brokenness and to go to bed with really, really deep rooted scars that will never heal, that I deal with every single day. Yeah. I say like the way that I write songs, the only reason I write songs is because it's way cheaper than therapy. I spend a lot of time talking about like the really, really like lonesomeness, the loneliness of being in a house surrounded by love that I never thought I would have, and I'm so grateful for the life that I have today, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
And it's not clean enough, and it's not perfect enough, and it's not holy enough.
Yes.
And I think what I tend to do is say, because of where I came from, what I do have is far greater than I ever imagined. Mm-hmm. And it's not enough. When I talk to customers, it's like, I'm a different person than I am to my family. And I edit some stories because I don't want to go too deep, right? But then like I get off and I'm like, let me tell you the real stuff, right?
Right. Because of my anxiety, like I don't have a filter, and a lot of people don't like it. And, learning to love myself as I am, like, has been a process.
I turned 42 this year, and I still feel like I'm a 12-year-old trying to figure out how to live in this world.
Oh my God.
I say this like, I just want somebody to tell me I'm pretty and hold me, just to have that moment so that you get through it and you can be like, we're human. Let's breathe.
Yeah.
And then let's get productive. There's a woman at my work, her name's Lisa Lloyd, and she said, it's not that you shouldn't give your whole self. It is that you need to make sure that who you are giving your whole self to can accept your whole self. Like, it's not that I can't have these moments. It's that you're not ready to have this moment with me.
So yesterday I had one of those moments. So I'm like investing in these people to help me with my podcast. And like, there were a lot of deadlines that were missed. And I get on the phone with the woman who is kind of managing the whole project, and I was upset,
Yeah.
and and there was that energy there, and I got off the call, and if I were in her shoes, I'm sure I would have cried, and I apologized, and it's like in those moments I think that are the hardest to have that self-love,
Yeah.
at least for me, is when I've
Oh,
unintentionally.
I don't think that I love myself. I really, really don't like that I have to be the center of attention. I don't like the fact that after I live in a place for a couple of years, I can walk into any coffee shop and 40 people know me. But like I say those things, but in the same time, when I say those things, they're the things that so many people love about me. And I look at that as I hate that about myself, because when you make a mistake and when you do the wrong thing, thousands of people see it. There's a part of me that is like, God, somebody's going to leave a comment on LinkedIn to be like, well, you were an asshole to this, or you got drunk one time and let me tell you what you did, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's what self-love is, right? Is like
Yeah.
loving yourself for all the things. And, like I had somebody very close in my life a couple of months ago, like tell me all the things that were wrong about me, and that, I talk too much about money when I'm doing well, and like then when I'm not doing well, then I talk about that. It was just like, this is wrong with you, and this is what's wrong with you, and and I talked to my neighbor and friend, and she was like, there's nothing wrong with you, and like you built this business, and then like you're going through these struggles, and so it's like which narrative do you want to believe? And
Yeah.
you can berate yourself for wanting to be the center of attention and whatever, or celebrate the fact that like you have this skill of connecting
Yeah.
people, and people gravitate towards you, and there's a lot of good in the world that you can do. And so I think it's holding that, like, yes, I didn't show up the way I wanted to in that conversation yesterday, but I'm also like, I'm doing the best I can, and I'm constantly learning. And as long as like my heart is in the right place, that's the work, right? And then once you start to love yourself, then you start to become less reactive, and it kind of breaks these chains that hold you in fear. What sometimes helps me is thinking of myself as, 5-year-old kid that
Yeah.
went through some stuff too that was not right. And sometimes I think if I could just go back and just hold her, and
Yeah.
like, and I know you said that all you want is somebody to tell you you're pretty and hold you, but you know what, you can do that. There's that kid in you still, no matter how old you are, that's still learning.
Yeah. I like that. I tend to forget that, like, that 7-year old that went through that is standing in front of these kids right now,
Yes.
you know? And I think that there's like a hardship for me to like accept that that 7-year old had no power and no control over what happened to him, and now I get to take control over what happened to him. And I think there is a moment in my life where I don't ever want it to just be dark. I want there to be hope, and I want to drive hope out of change. If you can find a way to kind of speak to yourself kindly, truly like center yourself on the truest form of you that you can find,
Mm.
and then speak words that you can hear, you will find a moment of peace and a home that I think a lot of us truly are searching for in this life, right? So, anyways,
Well, and watching you say that, it's like I'm just thinking in my head, like how could you possibly not love yourself?